We interview interesting people doing interesting things where you can expand your connections, your community. Kindness is cool and smiles are free. And let's get this party started. Oh, I love the Pirate Broadcast. Thank you so much for being here. If you're live, comment, share, let us know what you're doing, where you are, and ask any questions you'd like to ask. And if you're watching this in the future, please like and subscribe and all the social media activities that we can come up with to help share this inspirational message, motivation. And today, we want to talk about your mission, some of the ideas that you're planning in your future. And we're going to be talking to Brian here and getting some enlightenment and encouragement. So, Brian, welcome. How are you?
Thank you. It's great to be here and for everyone who's watching.
You know, it's we were talking before the show, and you're currently in Toronto. I'm in Arizona, and it's always amazing to me that even though the last 18 months or so has been globally impacting, the fact that we can connect here and have a conversation and talk about some of the things in life and some of the things we're pursuing in life, it's so amazing to me. And I want to encourage other people to think about how you're making those connections, how you're reaching out to friends. And it's so important that we make those connections and start those conversations because, we all need something in life that we can look forward to and encourage others to do a little bit more. So it looks like we lost Brian. And so, hey, I'm just hanging out here on the Pirate Broadcast. And we'll be doing a few moments until Brian comes back. But I want to thank everybody for the fact that we had my sister was in the hospital, and I posted on LinkedIn. And thank you everyone for your comments and your concern and everything that goes along with it. So, Brian, welcome back.
Hello. I have no clue what happened there. I've never had an issue. All of a sudden it just went out. I have no clue what happened.
It doesn't matter. We're here. We're here now. And I want to talk about, some of the things that you enjoy speaking on and how you came about this idea and concept about having a mission. And so for those that may not know you, you started out years ago. All of a sudden you woke up one day and you decided to be a priest. And so it's like, how does that happen?
Well, I wish it was.
How does that happen?
Yeah. Well, I wish it was that simple. I didn't just wake up, but maybe what I'll do is I'll just give the quick nutshell, version for everyone who's listening. I was born and raised in Boston, so I live in Toronto, but I'm American. After university, I decided to go to the seminary. I went to a Catholic university. I was, very involved with kind of the Catholic chaplaincy office, and there was always a sense of service, that I felt within me, even growing up, and in that sense of connection on a spiritual side, but also connecting and serving humanity. And, the religion I was raised in was Catholic. And so at that time, it just made sense. That's how I felt I needed to live that out. So I went to the seminary, super positive experience. And then I was ordained and I served 4 years in a parish and then 4 years as the kind of private secretary, which would mean like chief of staff to the cardinal from the Vatican. So yeah, it was an amazing experience. And I think that formation really helped me have a foundation of that it's not just work that you do, but it's a mission. And when I freely resigned to live my life in a new way and became an executive in New York City, I still saw what I was doing as a mission, not just work, not just I was, executive director. I ended at NYU Medical, raising millions, but it was a mission of impacting others. So I think that's where the foundation comes from. And to this day, now I help my clients and those I work with to move from a mindset of this is my work. No, this is your mission. Because when you have that mindset, it's about impact. it's about inspiration, and it's about literally changing and evolving the world for what is to come.
And our experience creates the fabric of our life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can't separate our good experience, bad experience, you know, just overall life experience from who we are and who we become. And I think mission is such an impact and such a powerful way of thinking about life. And I was, you know, reading something on you the other day, and I just thought to myself, I really like that idea of mission. And that's what the Pirate Broadcast is, you know, highlighting people like yourself that are doing incredible things, large and small. Everybody's important. Everybody has a gift. Everybody has a message. And we have to celebrate everything that we're able to do in any number of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know that mindset is a big part of that. And sometimes, you know, we limit ourselves and we don't believe in who we are. And so how do we go on a mission to kind of unpack that and maybe expand our belief in our ability to see our own value? What's some of the things that you've thought about or you worked with other clients?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, that's a great question. And, you know, actually right before joining your broadcast, I was, you know, with a client, actually, they were in Singapore. And, you know, it was an early stage conversation. And I was sharing, I said, you know, they're at a crossroads, you know, of where they are. They've had a very successful career, but they desire something different. They're not sure what, where do we go? How do I make the impact? And I said, it all comes down to one simple question you have to ask yourself. What do I desire? Because when you really ask yourself what you desire, that's where the truth is. And the truth will never lie. The truth is always in your heart. It doesn't mean you will always have the answers. It doesn't mean you'll always know exactly what's next to do. But if you really spend time and honestly ask, what do I desire? That will help move you towards what is that mission? What is it that I need to do? And desire is usually always related to joy. And I think we can't forget that, you know, desire is about following joy and where you want that to be and using your gifts. And so that question is what helped move me from being a priest to making that courageous decision to leave and moving onward. Because I knew for myself, it was a sense, wow, I'm very happy what I do. I know I'm very successful. I know I make impact, but I desire more. I desire to be able to be free to love another person. I desire to bring my gifts in a different way. And that brought joy. And so I think that's an important step that a lot of people overlook. They want the results right away. They want to know the plan. They want the action. They want to move forward. But unless you spend time looking at and asking and being open and just listening to that important question, that's where you're going to have the clarity on what some of those creative, inspired steps are next.
Absolutely. The idea and the concept of what do I desire is somewhat what I have mentioned in the past is how do you want to feel about what you're doing right now? What's the feeling you have? And joy is something, you know, gratitude. I wake up every morning with gratitude. I'm not normally a morning person, and doing the show in the morning is purposeful. It's to be able to make sure that I have a little bit of gratitude, understanding of what's going on in the world around me, and how we can actually help each other see what we can do to improve the world around us. And living in the moment is also key. And, you know, knowing that you're doing something that's going to benefit somebody else, you know, create something, inspire someone, you know, make sure that you know that people are loved and cared for around you. And, you know, that's what the pirate community is about.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And it's, I mean, you're living a beautiful mission, you know what I mean? Inspiring out. I never thought of pirates being inspirational. I think you're the leader of the pack of changing that. But I think that really is key. And I love what you had to say about, gratitude in the morning. I know we join millions of others around our beautiful planet that also do that and then end the day with that. But gratitude really does shift things. And I know the days where I don't begin with that, they always start off a little clunky, or maybe not go in the right direction. I mean, I really try for so many people, our phones are, next to our bed. And I find, if I scroll, I'm pretty disciplined not to, but if I scroll onto something or look at something right away, it gets everything going. But to have something that there's an app I have that I click on that has like a new, like inspirational quote every morning.
Yeah.
Just to get going and get you in that mindset, it really does change the energy of the day and helps us ease into the mission of the day.
It's really a powerful tool to reset, because regardless of what's going on around you and with technology and all the noise, find a moment of calm among the noise and just think about all the things that you can be grateful for and appreciate where you are, because there are people out there doing incredible things with much less than what you have. And that's on every level. And I think that's important. And when you're teaching and you're coaching and you're talking to your clients, Brian, is there a sense that it's fairly universal? I mean, we all have our challenges. And what I've discovered in having, hundreds of conversations like this is a lot of them are two things take place. You feel like you're the only one, and you're alone in a crowd of people that are all feeling the same thing.
Absolutely.
So maybe you can expand on that.
Yeah, no, definitely. So I think, one of the things that I do with the clients I work with, I really have such a joy of working one-on-one with the clients that I engage with. Some of them, one of the specialties are kind of like new CEOs. I also work with professional leaders who are maybe just in a moment, they want to go deeper in leading their teams, or individuals that are looking to make a transition. But regardless, I begin every single session with my clients with a breathing, grounding technique. And I'll be honest with you, I was so nervous the first time to do that, because it's something that's important to me, because it creates space every day. Breath is something that's just, we know from a scientific standpoint that it really can lower our anxiety, helps, relax us, puts us in the moment. And I was just inspired one day. I said, well, all these individuals I'm working with, mostly via Zoom, are coming from one Zoom to the next, or from a team meeting to this. And how can you jump from, leading a strategy meeting to now they want to talk about some of their kind of personal desires and also their professional goals and desires? That's hard to transition. So by doing a breathing exercise, and every session begins with that, it automatically changes the energy. And the transformation and the conversation goes in a very different direction. They're more relaxed. They're more open to listening. I find the way they speak. And I find if we're able to do that every day, it really helps. And we can do it in such simple ways. You could be in the grocery store, maybe coming from a meeting, and you could be pushing your cart and just breathing in, breathing out. No one knows. And you can start to feel that. And I find one of the gifts of the pandemic has been people have been wanting to be more connected with themselves, that there's a movement there, and being mindful, throughout the day really changes the tone and changes how you interact with people.
I think a lot of people have also stepped back and reflecting on what's really important in their life. As we were talking before, I'm a caregiver, And that is not always an easy, it's not always easy as
Mm-hmm.
a task. However, it's very fulfilling as a mission to make sure that people are okay and they get to where they need to be and get the help they need.
Mm-hmm.
And coaching is much the same way, consulting with executives around the world, because there's lots of pressure. A lot of them are driven by the next quarter earnings, people, different strategies, long-term things. So we're always unpacking all
Mm-hmm.
these emotional attachments we have to things. And I think in the last 18 months, there's been a lot of detachment. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, I guess I don't really need to live with that.
Mm-hmm.
And so what's your sense of the overall communication you're having, and what impact do you think it's going to have in the next 24, 36 months?
Well, I think one of the biggest areas that you just kind of alluded to as well, and working with my clients and also just my own network as well, something that's happened through the pandemic is a shift of also realizing who are the people in our lives that we want to have there, and who are the people that maybe we need to let go of. Because I think during, before the pandemic, for so many of us, we had our social life was very active, right? We were going out a lot. There was a lot going on. It was very easy to just book, evenings and for a drink or for a dinner or coffee or golf, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And then we were separated. And I think that also gives space to realize, wow, like I don't hear from that person anymore. Or I was always the one that had to initiate the interaction, and I don't miss them. And maybe those relationships have served in a sense of gratitude what they needed to, but it's also a sense of, I find people want to be aligned with people that are really bringing that joy, that are aligning with where they want to be. And I spoke with someone just yesterday and they said, wow, my social life is starting to pick up a little bit and I'm enjoying it, but at the same time, I'm not feeling the same. I feel I'm in a different place and how I want it to be. So I think that's something that's going to continue. And especially as some people get back to the office and back to work, or, as that continues to happen for so many around the globe, that's also going to impact how people want to live their social life and with who they want to have around them. And that's okay. Part of having a mission is also knowing who is going to support you in that and what do you need. And there are some individuals, whether personal or professional, that may have served their time and you have to release that so new people are able to come in and really support. And I know from myself through the pandemic, one of the most amazing, surprising gifts was, LinkedIn and the internet and the, just thousands of people that have connected and built a similar mindset. It's been pretty amazing. And I know others feel the same, but I think that's an important concept for us as we move towards and develop mission.
It is a huge concept. And I think I was just talking to, to actually Howard Kaufman. We were at an event, a Founders Guild event here in Arizona. And I mentioned, your best friends are the ones that will bail you out of your jail, and your very best friends are the ones that'll be there with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very true. Very
so
true.
You have to make sure that you understand who your friends are and who you can actually rely on and depend on. And so Angie's an amazing friend. She's always been a supporter of the Pirate Broadcast, and I love that she's here and hopping in today. And I just really appreciate the people in my community. Like you said, LinkedIn has been a huge fulfilling community for me personally. And I know it's been so many others as well. Elise is here. She's good morning all. She's from South Africa. So she's, it's international. And the fact that we can do this, Brian, and have conversations across and around the world, it's amazing to me. And I just continue to think that it can build bridges that we have never seen in the past.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's the exciting part of, the mission is that it's global. Like we can, whatever our mission is, wherever we are in whatever part of the world, whether we're in South Africa today or the States or Canada, Europe, wherever, we all have a special mission in that moment, wherever we are. And, we often think, oh, it has to be in such a global way or whatever. But no, wherever we are is where we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And there are people there are individuals that need that light, that need our presence, that need to have the reality right there. And so I think the support of people around the globe to help us live that mission wherever we are, that's pretty powerful. And that's the gift of technology right now, which is, I think, forever changed how we do things.
Yeah. I mean, I have, like you mentioned, LinkedIn has been a gift in a lot of respects during this last 18 months, because I mean, I've been on LinkedIn since I think 2005. So, and I've made friends all over the world as a result of having these kinds of conversations. And I think it's important for us to understand that we're not alone. Some of our thoughts are being broadcast at other places, and other conversations are taking place. I think it's important for us to, even though we're struggling with something in our, day-to-day activities or life in general, there's other people that are equally, thinking about it or doing or have done it, so there's either someone in front of us or behind us. We're all in a progression here. So I want to talk to you a little bit about going back to mindset and some of the things that you may want to, plant as a seed with people when they're thinking about, coulda, shoulda, woulda, or, their future trip on something of, oh, is this going to happen? Because I think it's so important for us to stay in the moment. And a lot of us have a hard time doing that. So what are some tools we can use, or some thoughts that we can plant today on with the Pirates to get them on an idea path that we can actually maybe change some things in their lives?
Absolutely. I think, a very practical one, I actually call it, don't go Netflix. And I use it with clients, and I use it with myself too. And it really just happened. On Netflix, when you go on that, or any streaming service, that we have availability, and that's global, sometimes there are certain shows, you can watch season 1, season 2, season 3, and you can go back and you can watch it again, and you start almost, you binge, you almost, the lines, what's going to happen, etc. And you create the story as it's happening, or what's going to happen. We often do that in our own life too. We create our own Netflix series in our mind that, especially when we're trapped in a moment of fear, oh, what do I do next? Oh, what are they going to think? How is this going to be received? How do I do this? So we start having conversations in our minds, and we start creating it, and we create a new scene. Next thing you know, we're on season 5 in our own mind of what's happening. And it's very important that if the Netflix series that we're creating in our minds with our own conversations is bringing us down, making us feel isolated, that's a sign that we need to stop. We need to stop, and we need to recast. We need to end the series and start a new series and really begin in a new way. Negative talk, negative fixation on the doubts or the fears only hold us back. So one of the most important things to do is to pay attention to, what are you saying to yourself? What are you being fixated on? And if you're finding that it's becoming too much, that's a sign usually of when you need to speak with someone, whether it's someone like myself, whether it's a therapist, whether it's a trusted friend, whoever it may be, that you can talk some of those things out, because when you do that, it airs it. And that's an important mindset. And it's very important to make sure you pay attention to what's going on. What's the series? What's the series you're creating in your mind? The second aspect too is, I think it's really important to, what are you allowing yourself to read and see every day. That mindset of making sure that you create that boundary is very important. If you spend, 2-3 hours on Instagram, and then you're going through LinkedIn, you start doing that. If you're in a moment of transition, you often can start to compare yourself. You start to, oh, they're so much better, I can't do this. And you have to step that back. That is an important mindset of saying, wow, if you see someone who's successful, like, wow, their success is showing me I'm going to get success, in changing that. But that's an important mindset. We spend a lot of time in the comparison, and the ego loves that. The ego feasts on that. Yeah. So we have to make sure that's managed in a very mindful way.
You bring up an excellent point. And, going back to the idea of having a mission, one of the things that, we live in this society of, Instagram famous, and the outcome and being so attached to the outcome that you don't enjoy the process of getting there. Is really something that we need to think about, because I was talking with somebody the other day, and one of the challenges I've been reflecting on is at different points in my life, I've achieved results and then discovered that the results I had imagined on the start of the journey and the results at the end of the journey were not necessarily in alignment with what I actually wanted as a result of taking the journey.
Right.
And so you have to, kind of separate yourself and say that was a journey, and my future doesn't necessarily need to mirror my past. It doesn't necessarily need to be the same outcome. And I have to remind myself that, because, we can only, what is it? Fear and faith require this, us to believe in something that doesn't exist, or something we haven't seen yet.
Yes.
So moving forward into something that we don't understand requires us to imagine where we could be or what potentially could happen, like the Netflix episode. However, getting so attached to the outcome that we are disappointed and constantly upset by what happens is really something we need to think about. So how do you kind of temper motivation versus the destination and being disappointed?
So first of all, I'm all about being practical and being grounded. You hear so often, many people are like, oh, I want to make these changes and da. That's great. But for anyone's listening right now and they're like, yeah, this all sounds really wonderful, but like, I'm so fearful about finances. Like, how do I move forward? How can I make this? I desire to do something else, but I have 3 kids. I have a mortgage. I have all these things, but what are some of the things? That's real. That's reality. And so what I always do is let's bring it right down. It's about being grounded that, yeah, those are responsibilities. You have to look at that. But let's just be open to maybe one creative step maybe to take. And what I often will say is, what about just being inspired to have conversations with individuals that maybe you've always admired, someone you wanted to reach out to. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain with just taking one small step of just opening the door and being open, not trying to control the outcome. When we try to control the outcome, it's always because of fear, because we want to know where we're going to be and how it's going to be. We really want to trust the desire of your heart and grow in a mission. You have to release that and just say, I'm just being open. I'm not selling my house. I'm not resigning today. All those Netflix series that we start creating and we start seeing ourselves going in and resigning and then things, okay, that's not where we're supposed to be. It's about, okay, I've always wanted to speak to these 3 people I've always respected. I'm just going to have an open conversation. Keep it practical, keep it on point, and keep it joyful. And that helps release some of the outcome. By doing that, that's when more actual come in, because we're not blocking the results. So that's something that's really important. And that doesn't matter if you're already in a very successful role, you're looking to change something, or you're in a personal relationship. Small, practical, inspired steps. That's where you go.
I love that. I love that. Wendy says, good morning, Pirate Nation. We're all here together right now. We're meant to be. Thank you, Russ Johns, for bringing the pirate crew together. Welcome, Brian.
Thank you, Wendy.
And she says, I'm just being open. Fantastic. She's always been an amazing supporter of the pirate crew. Brian, well, thank you so much for being here today. I know we could go on and talk about this subject for probably days, weeks, months, maybe. And it's so important, I think, right now more than any other time in history. You know, we're expanding. Technology allows more conversations to take place. There's a lot of people that are in transition. And I thank you so much for being here and sharing a few thoughts and ideas. And how would you like people to reach out and connect with you?
Well, thank you. First of all, again, I just want to say I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be here and the pirate crew. And for those who are listening, I welcome to hear from individuals on LinkedIn. Feel free to connect with me, send me a message, say that you heard here, and you will hear back from me. I promise you that. Also, you can go through my website, which is www.evolution.com. Which is all being updated. It's going through an evolution as I speak to represent where new things are at. But
we didn't even touch on that subject, so we'll have to have you back.
Yeah, absolutely. But you can send a message there as well. So I welcome to hear from anyone. And that's really one of my great joys in building my mission and helping others build their mission, is to connect.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
As always, everyone, please, like, subscribe, share this information, because that's how it works. The platforms, if people like this and you share it out, more people will find it. So thank you so much for being here. And I appreciate you, wishing you all the best in your adventures. And because, well, kindness is cool and smiles are free. So you enjoy your day. Take care, everyone. Thank you for joining the Pirate Broadcast. If you found this content valuable, please like, comment, and share it across your social media channels. I would love the opportunity to help others grow in their business. The Pirate Syndicate is a platform where you show up, we produce the show. It's that easy. If you want to be seen, be heard, and be talked about, join the Pirate Syndicate today.